So we're gonna move in dealing with a situation where somebody on top manages to get, like the full headlock, like Kesa Gatame. If they start to get here, okay? So what I'm thinking about on the bottom is that I need to worry about him either controlling the spot, redirecting my hips, advancing his position, or if he starts to go for those kind of short arm bars where he pushes my arm in between his leg. It's very common for people to try and go for these types Kimura or straight arm locks. So I'm gonna need to be hand fighting with him. What I want to keep is an angle and seeing if I can keep my elbow framed out into his hip, help stop him from staying connected to my hips the best that I can. Right? If I keep a frame out, he'll be able to start to walk back into me. And if you have somebody who's good at keeping their weight managed where they don't overcommit, where I can start to flip them over, then he can start to advance or look to finish from here. Okay, so I'll be keeping my hip in strong. My frame in strong on his hip. I'll be bringing my frame in front of his neck and then posting on my own hand to create a frame here. Okay. First situation is if he's keeping this leg open, sometimes we're going to be able to start to bring our foot inside so we can get a hook here. Okay. Now when I start to get my hook, I'll be hamstring curling back so I can start to extend into him. And this is kind of best case scenario. We'll go into what they're probably going to do once they realize that you're bringing this hook in next. But I'll start to belly him down. If I can start to shrug his hand off. I can look to bring myself up. If I can, I'll start to insert my twister hook so I can keep control of his hips, and I can start to ratchet him back over to finish on his back, right? Fighting for some sort of upper body control, ideally more of a rotational control here. If I have my twister hook in, going for my motorcycle seatbelt or going directly to the hand so I have lever access so I can start to open him up, and then I can start to chop my other hook in to finish on his back, okay? So he grabs onto my head. I'm going to be framing in his hips, so I'll be changing my angle, making sure I'm staying on my side, not letting him get me flattened out on my back. I'll be framing through my elbow, making sure I'm not going too shallow here where if he drives into me more on my hand, this frame will collapse, right? So if I get my elbow more protruded out into his neck, I'll have a stronger frame. Posting in behind my hand, keeping my elbow on his hip, I'll start to extend myself out. I'm chopping my hook in. Like I said, if he's keeping his knee open, a lot of times they'll close it. I'm going to be extending myself out. Here, if he bails his back to the floor, right, I'll just kind of keep following him. I'll try and chase the back if I can. Ideally, if I end up on top, re-fighting back for my upper body control, then looking to start to advance. Or if he stays more on his side, then I can start to look for some sort of upper body control on him here, keeping his hips covered, and then I can start to look to attack his back. Okay? Framing in his hip, putting my frame through my elbow into his neck, starting to insert my hook, extending myself out, starting to drive him into the floor. I can keep him open, looking for my seatbelt or my direct control to his arm. Like I said, I would prefer to get this just because they're going to be trying to throw their back to the floor once they recognize the threat of the back, right? And if I go with a direct control to him, it's going to be a lot easier for him to turn back into me. So if I can here, turn back. If I can get control of his arm, his hand, a Kimura seatbelt, even a collar grip here to stop him from throwing his back to the floor, I'll be able to stay connected to him a lot better, right? Then I can start to look to fight my other hand in, keeping his hips covered, and then I can look to bring my hooks in and finish on his back. Okay? Does anybody have any questions about that or need to see it again? Go with your partner, 1, 2, 3.